perjury trap. You only have an interview if your only purpose is to catch somebody in what you think is a lie. And it's very clear when you look at the timeline, when you look at everything, that that's what was going on. And you mentioned something else I think is very important. There is now evidence that has come out in recent weeks that they were really ready to drop the case on Flynn in early November. The question is, who kept it open from early November until January 4th? That's something we still don't know the answer to. There's still a lot of really important questions we don't know the answer to.
Yeah, you know, FBI agent William Barnett, he said he threatened to quit both the Mueller probe and the Trump-Russia probe because it was a get Trump attitude in those probes. He's also saying that the Flynn case felt like to him a placeholder case. Keep the Flynn case open. Maybe this was the insurance policy Peter Strzok talked about in order to go after Trump.
Well, that's very interesting you mentioned that. That's one theory, because remember, the insurance policy discussion was on August 15th. The Flynn case, the sub-file, Crossfire Razor, is opened the very next day. And, you know, that was a discussion. The insurance policy discussion was in McCabe's office with McCabe and Strzok and Lisa Page. The next day, the investigation of Flynn is officially open. And keep in mind also, nothing happens, right? This is consistent with the idea that it's an insurance policy. The agent you talked about, Barnett, says nobody was telling me to do anything. And by the way, there was no reason to open a sub-file on General Flynn. If you look at the opening document, it doesn't say we suspect him of something. It just says he's got some ties to Russia. That's not a crime. So that's an interesting thing. But here's something else that people aren't talking about enough, which is, forget about everything else. They've had the interview. A few days later, FBI tells DOJ, we don't think he's an agent. There's no evidence that he's a Russian agent or a foreign agent. They get him fired in early February. Why is there still a case on General Flynn at the Department of Justice? FBI's not doing anything. Why is this case hanging around? The acting Deputy Attorney General was a guy named Dana Bente. Actually, originally he was the acting Attorney General because when Sally Yates got fired, he took over. He's there 3 months, 2.5 months before Rod Rosenstein even comes over. Why is there still an investigation of General Flynn for anything? Okay, that's a real mystery here. Why is it kept open? And then, my God, why is it sent to Mueller's people? And it's very clear, by the way, it's very clear if you read all of the information out there that Mueller's people were still investigating the Logan Act. They were looking at Flynn and other people. And by the way, K.T. McFarland, who was on earlier, I think, today on your show, they were being looked at for the Logan Act violation, which, as you point out, has never been enforced or a case brought in the whole history of the Department of Justice. And so I know, you know, I'm talking on and on. Go ahead.
No, but go ahead. Finish your thought.
Well, here's something that nobody is talking about also. James Comey, in September of 2016, nobody really knows these sub-investigations are going on. He's in front of the House, I think, Judiciary Committee or Intelligence Committee in late September of 2016, and he gets this softball question from one of the Democratic congressmen, and it's, if you had a Logan Act violation, would the FBI seriously investigate it? Oh, yes, that's within our jurisdiction. We would investigate that. And then he says, well, has the FBI traditionally investigated the Logan Act? And Comey says, I think so. So, I mean, they were setting this up. They were setting this up very early on.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. That's an interesting point you just made. Saul Weisenberg, you always bring it. You always bring really great information. Saul Weisenberg, we love your analysis. Come back soon, okay?
Hey, happy to be here.
Sure.